Okay. All right. Tech is not my world, but that's okay. So everybody tuning in live, tuning in later, hello and welcome to the second episode of You Had Me at No TV. I'm Cheryl Green, and I will be your boundary sage for today. I'm a speaker, and I'm also the author of You Had Me at No, How Setting Healthy Boundaries Helps Banish Burnout, Repair Relationships, and Save Your Sanity. My goal with this show is really to introduce you to experts that can bring kind of their own perspective to boundary-related topics. And today I'm super excited. My guest is Nicole Rose. She is an etiquette consultant and the founder of Poised and Proper. I'm going to give you my little introduction and then I'll let her introduce herself. But I met Nicole a few months ago and her energy was just absolutely infectious. So I'm super excited to talk to her today. She offers exciting interactive classes on social etiquette, dining etiquette, college and career readiness, and business etiquette, and helps individuals feel confident and empowered and to succeed through kindness and compassion. Before we get into that kindness and compassion, when I hear etiquette, I have to tell you, I think about Julia Roberts in A Pretty Woman eating at that fancy restaurant and flinging escargot. Yes. So for those people who maybe don't know what etiquette is or have that image in their head, like, what is it? What do you do? And how did you get into this?
Definitely. So thank you for that wonderful introduction, by the way. That was so lovely. And thank you so much for having me on the show today. So you're right. When you hear the word etiquette, you think of like doilies and grandmothers and the queen, and it just sounds like a bit antiquated. But really at the heart of etiquette and manners is just making other people feel comfortable and making them feel at ease. So you asked me how I got into it. It's a really long, windy road. It's something that I've had in my heart since I've been a little kid. I knew at a very young age that I wanted people to do the right thing and to be nice to each other. And I had no problem telling people what was incorrect. Probably not the best thing, but I knew that it was in my heart from a young age. Fast forward, I moved to Las Vegas. I had been part of pageants and acting and modeling. And so my grandmothers had put me into an etiquette finishing school at a young age as well. So I utilized those skills through my pageantry and through my modeling and acting. Fast forward again, I started to deal blackjack on the Las Vegas Strip. So I was surrounded by adults who were just living their best life, maybe not always following protocols or manners. Then I was teaching fifth grade for 5 years and dealing with kids on the other end of the spectrum, and then through COVID as well, helping those kiddos. And yeah, I just saw like from the adult side and then from the kid side, I was like, okay, somebody needs to do something about this. We need more social skills, knowledge, and just kindness and compassion in the world, especially after 2020. Everybody just kind of forgot how to talk to people. So I started Poised and Proper. I started it in 2022 or 21, I want to say. The time is just flying by.
That's quite the journey from
Oh,
blackjack dealer to teacher. That's definitely two sides of the coin.
yeah, for sure. I've
I love
a
that.
lot.
So what I think is cool about what you said and about the whole kindness and compassion thing is you want people to do the right thing and you want people to be nice to each other, but not at the expense of themselves. And that's kind of where the whole boundary, connection comes in here is, people ask me a lot of the time, well, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be nasty when I say no or when I tell someone I can't help them. Do I have to be obnoxious about it? It's like, no, no, no. There's a way to be like a nice human being and a productive, part of society and still stand up for yourself.
Absolutely. So setting boundaries is not about trying to change someone else, right? We're not asking them to change who they are. They're going to be independent of you. It's about you establishing a set of rules that you're comfortable living by. So when you want to set boundaries for yourself, the first step is to just believe that you deserve boundaries in your life. So a lot of times people, they think, okay, I'm going to have these boundaries, but then they don't implement them in their lives. You need to make sure that you believe that those boundaries, that you're worthy of setting those boundaries.
Yeah, so many of us, grew up in these situations where we had this belief that if that we're there for everybody else, that we're not there to do anything for ourselves, and that the moment we say no or we turn someone down, we've lost our value and we've lost our worth.
No, of course not. So, when we're talking about setting boundaries, it's just about letting other people know what you're comfortable with. I was watching a YouTube video where this woman, her name is escaping me right now, but she put it like this: like, you have a yard, okay? You have a white picket fence around your yard, and that's your space.
Mhm.
Somebody comes into your yard, that's okay. You don't have these walls up. It's not like brick walls that you have up around your yard. It's accessible, it's open, but you have to set the ground rules of how they can play in your yard, right? So if somebody comes in and they, take out your hose and they leave it all crazy before they leave, you have to let them know, like, that's not okay. So the next time they come back, if they do it again, you tell them, sorry, you're not allowed to play in my yard anymore. It's just like, it's taking those steps. So there's no reason that if somebody crosses your boundary, you have to be like, oh, no, 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 I don't accept that. We can't be friends anymore. We can't talk anymore. It's about just conveying it in a nice, calm, respectful manner. I really don't want to talk about this, or I don't feel comfortable talking about this, or sometimes even I don't even say anything like that at all. I give kind of like a limp handshake, like, if you know what I mean, like just kind of excusing myself out of it. It's like, say somebody's trying to talk to you about politics or religion or something super uncomfortable, and they're like, oh, can you believe what's going on with that government? And I'll just say something like, oh, yeah, I don't know, that's crazy. And just leave it super vague and super open to where I just don't engage in the conversation at all. And sometimes that does the trick.
I like the concept of really not engaging, because when people, just from a behavioral standpoint, when people get what they want, which is usually the rise, the argument, the disagreement or the extreme agreement, it fuels them and it keeps them going.
Right.
So just kind of giving them the, oh yeah, yeah, sure, that's just crazy. So I like that idea. And look, that's going to happen. We're heading we're heading into the boundaries right now. No, we're in the holidays. We're in the thick of it. We've got Christmas coming up in a couple of days, and a lot of people are anxious right now. They know they're going home. They know they're going to be surrounded by family, by friends, by strangers that they're meeting, and they know those conversations are going to start coming up. And for some people, maybe it's politics, for some it's religion, for some it's why don't you have a baby yet?
Yeah.
Why haven't you gotten this job yet? Where's your life headed? So what would you say is a really good way to kind of prepare yourself for that? And besides, giving that vague answer, are there any other tips that you can offer people for having those conversations or getting out of them?
Definitely. So the first step into preparing yourself for having those boundaries or discussions with family members that are prying or make you uncomfortable is to set your boundaries and know why you're setting those boundaries. Why are those boundaries important to you? Why do you hold them? Because if somebody pushes back, if you say, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, and they say, why not? You should kind of have an answer ready to give them. And I'm not saying that everybody deserves an answer of why you don't want to talk about something. Sometimes it's just for a reason that you just don't. But if it is a family member or somebody that you're close to, it's perfectly acceptable and maybe sometimes needed to give them a reason why you don't want to talk about that. So just knowing what your boundaries are, knowing why you hold those boundaries, and then, like I said before, realizing that you deserve to have boundaries. And no matter who somebody is, whether it's a friend, a lover, or a family member, nobody should be able to cross your boundaries. That's your sacred place where you are comfortable. So let's see. And what else did you say? You said, how can we,
How do you get out of the conversation if you're super uncomfortable? And I look, the one of the points that I want to make here is that we can change our behavior, but no matter how hard we try, we can't change other people's.
you said it, Cheryl, that's it. So the way that I would handle that is to be direct and assertive, while also, you know, having a nice tone in your voice. It's like the way that you communicate something with your tone and inflection sets the mood. If you tell somebody in a very sincere tone, like, you know, let's say they're talking about your weight or your body shape or why you don't have kids or what's going on with your job, and you say to them, you know, Mom, I don't want to talk about that. I don't feel comfortable talking about that, but I do feel comfortable talking about whatever, you know, X, Y, or Z. That would be my first step. So telling them very straightforward, because you're not trying to make people read between the lines with your boundaries. This is something that you need to set in stone, know what they are, and tell other people what they are. So I feel like being direct and assertive is the best way to go. If somebody keeps pushing you and they keep trying to get you to talk about the thing that you don't want to talk about, I would remind them again nicely, like I said before, I really don't feel comfortable talking about this. And if you continue to talk about this, I'm going to get up and walk away. And at that point, if the person respects you, they will be able to, you know, reciprocate that respect that you're asking for, and just drop it, you know, and change the subject. And the last straw would be to get up and walk away and just have some time to cool down, and maybe come back together with that person at a later time and tell them, again, remind them, I really don't feel comfortable talking about that. If we could just leave it alone for the rest of the time I'm here, I would really appreciate that. And it would make me feel a lot more comfortable during my stay.
I love that. And you don't have to have an answer for this because I'm not sure there is one, but some of us may have a Muppet face that is extremely, extremely readable.
Mm.
And that tone does become an issue. So if you automatically show everything you're feeling, how do I put that nicely?
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
Is there a way to kind of control that and to control your tone and things like that?
Practice makes perfect. When you start to feel yourself getting heated or upset, that is your trigger to recognize that emotion, that anger is starting to bubble up. And I like to take a deep breath and just kind of recenter myself. I don't mean to sound cheesy, but deep breathing really does help. I mean, I'm not saying like in front of somebody you should be like huffing and puffing, trying to control yourself, because that would look awkward, but maybe just silently taking like 1 or 2 deep breaths before you even decide to answer. And that pregnant pause that you're creating by breathing is going to make the other person feel that tension, and they're going to know that something is up. And when you come back with a nice tone, because you've just done that breathing technique, and you say, I don't feel comfortable talking about this, that's probably going to scare them into not wanting to talk about it, because you've like made them wait for that response.
Got it. Okay. All right. Breathe and control the Muppet face. Got it.
Try as best as you can. I mean, that is something that takes years of practice, you know. I am not going to say that I'm perfect. I also wear my expressions on my face. I mean, I have a pretty good poker face when I play cards, but when it comes to my emotions, I really have to constantly think about it, and like really try hard not to have those expressions. So,
I always
it's okay.
think about Jim Carrey. Like he always said that he practiced for hours and hours and hours, like over the years in the mirror, like making different
Yeah.
faces. And like maybe I need to do that, like add in
Yeah.
my Muppet practice.
No, I really do. Mirror work is part of my courses, actually.
Oh,
So
nice.
yes, it really does work.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's switch gears for a second here. So we know how to kind of deal with conversations now. Holidays, big time for gift giving.
Oh, yeah.
Huge time. So we've got a couple of different kind of situations that we get into here, where we're giving gifts, we're receiving gifts. Let me stop that. We're exchanging gifts. Let me put that as the first one.
Okay.
And then sometimes we're getting gifts and we weren't planning on it. We weren't planning on exchanging. So now we're in like this awkward, what do I do with my hands kind of territory. So talk to me about a little bit about gift giving and like, how do we make it not awkward and warm and fuzzy for everyone?
Right. I love it. This is the perfect time of year to talk about, exchanging of gifts and how to do it gracefully. When somebody gives you a gift, it's important to respond in a way that shows thankfulness, right? And even if we're caught off guard and let's say that we didn't get that person something in return, I wouldn't show that. That's where we got to practice those facial expressions. I wouldn't show that on my face. I would just say, oh, thank you so much. I really wasn't expecting this. I appreciate it so much. And that could just help you practice that grace in the situation. You don't need to say, I didn't get you anything, or I didn't know we were exchanging gifts. I think just to accept the gift with grace and kindness and just like a overwhelming sense of thankfulness is enough. And then if you really, I would do this anyways, but if you really feel it in your heart, I would follow up with a thank you card, or maybe taking them to lunch or out for drinks or something like that, just to express your thankfulness for what they did for you. It's not necessary to reciprocate and get them a gift in return, because that's going to look kind of weird, like you didn't have it there at the time, but now you all of a sudden you have it. So,
It's funny and mildly sad that I never even thought that you just follow that with a thank you card. How bad is that? Like, because I'm that person like, oh, your gift hasn't gotten here yet. It's still, damn, Amazon. So, but no, I mean it's a beautiful thing to be able to just accept the gift and accept the energy from where it came. Exactly. But to just return that energy with a thank you card, well, that's just new.
It's way easier than lying. It takes so much energy to formulate those, like, oh, the postman must be running late, and then you kind of look like a, whatever. And by saying that, because they know that you're lying.
Yeah.
So just remember, the holiday season is more about the spirit of giving and the thought behind the gift, rather than this strict idea of exchanging gifts.
Okay, I love that. Speaking of exchanging gifts, they get you something you really, really hate. Like, what's the protocol on this?
That is a really sensitive topic, and it's one that my students and my clients ask me about all the time. So you want to show sensitivity and respect to the person who gave you the gift. Again, an overwhelming thank you. When they first give you the item, and let's say that you're forced to open it in front of them, and it's something that you just like you're not vibing with, it's not your deal. I always say thank you. Oh, it's a pair of socks with purple hearts on it. Thank you so much. These are going to be great for the winter time. Like, describe the gift and try to figure out when you're going to use the gift. Okay. So if it's like something that is, just generic, or maybe it's like clothing or something like that doesn't fit, I would say that's a perfectly valid reason to exchange it. But if it's something that's like handmade or sentimental, just suck it up. It was created for you, and just keep it, and maybe put it out when they come over, or wear it when you go out with them. So.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, because I mean, sometimes you open and you're like, that was really thoughtful, but
yeah. Try not to do that. Just say thank you. Those are the magic words in a lot of gift giving scenarios. Just say thank you. Try not to show it on your face. Remember, like, describe the gift in a nice upbeat voice, and just try to figure out like, oh, I could use this blank with whatever it is. Even if you're just telling a little white lie, it's better than saying, oh my God, this is hideous. I'm never going to wear this. Why did you get this for me?
All right, so we do not need extreme truth telling. That's fair. That's fair. What other suggestions would you have for people, going into this season, maybe going home for the holidays, maybe they're alone. I guess there's probably not a lot of etiquette when you're alone. But what tips would you give people just to survive the next 2 to 3 weeks and get through it with their sanity intact and with their with aplomb? Let's put it that way.
Oh, nice verbiage there.
Thank you.
That's a really good question. And I would say just go into it understanding that it's not forever. You're there for a limited time. The holidays are about being together and making memories and being with family. You have to know that everyone in your family has a different attitude, different demeanor. Try to play to that. Like if you know that your sister likes to pick fights over something, like try to steer clear of that topic or not get into it. If arguments do come up, just try to be the bigger person, treat others how you want to be treated. The simple rules, the golden rules that we all learned as kids. And I know that sounds a little bit lame, but it's so true. Like when you go home, you have to expect that it's not all going to be rainbows and butterflies. Like families encounter drama, and if it really is bothering you or if something is really going down that you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to separate yourself from the engagement or from the festivities for a while until you kind of feel better. So I guess to sum it up in a nutshell is to just expect that everyone has different values and they have different opinions, and you're going to encounter them. So just be mindful of that and try to just roll with the punches, go with the flow.
I love it. And yeah, I think stepping away and taking that time to breathe and to center and to calm down, I think is great advice. I have, maybe it's specific to me, who knows? Say you wrote a book on boundary setting.
Oh, okay.
And you want to suggest that people get it for someone in their life as a gift, but you don't know how to say, like, how do you nicely give a gift of boundaries? How do you put that?
That is a really good question. I hate to say this to you, Cheryl, but I would probably steer clear of giving somebody a gift that is trying to correct their behavior because it can come across as offensive. But what you could do, since this person or she wrote the book, we don't know if it's you, whoever wrote this book can just give one to every family member so that it doesn't look like someone's being singled out.
Here you go.
And just say, I love it if you guys had a copy, you could sign it for them, to make it, more exciting. Or if you want, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you wanted to be sneaky about it, you could just like mysteriously send it to their house. Like, I don't know. But then I don't know, it wouldn't work because the person's face is on the book. So I would probably opt for oh no, it isn't?
No, well, so no, I like the idea. That's bulk orders.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. If you're like, you don't just buy it for one family member, you buy it for the entire family. So there you go. Now, yes, you heard it here, folks. Bulk orders, so you can give one to everyone in your family.
Yeah.
I love it. Nicole, how do people get in touch with you, and how would you like them to work with you?
Oh, great. Thank you so much for offering that. So you can visit my website, poisedproper.com. You can email me at nicole@poisedproper.com. I'll get back to you right away. And on my website, you can search around. I've got tons of things going on this 2024 for kids and teens, and for adults. And there's also like a connect form there as well to get in touch. Or you can just email me directly and I'll get back with you.
Awesome. And I saw you've got a thing for couples coming up, which sounded pretty cool.
Yes, I do. So it's in the works. I don't want to say too soon, but I'm working with a couple of different community centers in town. Sky Canyon is one of them, and they want to do like a couples adult date night dining etiquette. So it's for you and your partner. We'll go through like an hour and a half of dining etiquette protocols, and then you'll actually get a meal with wine pairing and the whole thing and get to practice everything that you learned.
I love it. And as somebody who has had done online dating for a very, very long time, like, please offer a class for online dating because man, it is a jungle out there. Uh,
Yeah,
happy to be out of that world, but just a
me too,
suggestion.
sister, me too.
Nicole, thank you so much for being on here. If anybody has any questions, please put them in the comments if you haven't already, because I can't see them. Maybe somehow I could, but one of us will definitely answer your questions. And I just, want to say thank you for being here, and I have a happy holiday. I mean, they're coming up. We're going to be through this season soon. Hang in there. You've got this. Thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please visit youhadme@no.com. You can download your free How to Say No cheat sheet, and you can check out the book and the coloring book to order in bulk for absolutely everyone that you know. So thank you guys for tuning in. Nicole, thanks for being
Oh, thank
here.
you so much for having me.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right.